Welcome back to the Daily Mastermind. My name is George Wright III with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education. I'm excited to be here with you today because I wanted to follow up to our podcast from yesterday regarding mastermind groups. And we were going to wait till Wednesday, but I decided I wanted to do a quick follow-up and do that today. And then we'll be talking tomorrow on Wednesday. We'll be talking a little bit more about asset protection, tax reduction, and estate planning at a real high level. So let's go ahead and get into it. The mastermind quote of the day is by, it's by Michael Josephson. And it says, "An ounce of action is worth a ton of good intentions." An ounce of action is worth a ton of good intentions. That's so true. That's so true. And I hope these quotes are giving you some thought-provoking inspiration for your life. Try to really put some thought into these quotes rather than going through the motions. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. The power of the mastermind group. I talked about this yesterday because I felt like if you want to create some momentum in the month of May and in your life, you're going to really attach yourself and buy into the concept of the mastermind group. And I want to revisit this. This was my second episode ever on this podcast, even though we're on, I think it's episode 216. And that's the mastermind. The concept of the mastermind and the term has been used a ton, but it's one of the main reasons that I created the podcast and the mobile app. Was I really bought into this idea of the mastermind. That's why I have trademarks on the Daily Mastermind. But I want to talk today, really the goal for me is just to help you get a high-level understanding of what is a mastermind, how it works, and how it can be applied in your life. And, I think that there's a lot of different ways to analyze and evaluate a mastermind. You need to do what's best for you in your life. But I learned about a mastermind by reading Think and Grow Rich. How many of you have actually read Think and Grow Rich? And I'm not talking about scanning through it. I mean reading through it by Napoleon Hill. It just blows my mind that this thing is 100 million copies sold over 80 years. I don't know that I need to give it any more setup than that. 100 million copies sold over 80 years, and it's still on the bestseller list. This just proves the strategy and the proven concepts that are in this book. And it's the reason I personally read and continue to study its principles all the time, and you hear about it all the time. So let me back up for a minute and tell you a quick story. For those of you that don't know about it, about 5 years ago, I was really struggling to find some direction in my personal and my business life. A lot of things had happened. We're not going to get into that right now. But I found myself one night listening to an audiobook by Napoleon Hill. And, I was sitting there and I was listening to this audiobook, and it was at the point is chapter 3. I'm not going to get into the book right now, but it really changed everything in my life. It wasn't Think and Grow Rich. It was a different book. But what I was listening to was Napoleon Hill talking about how he was at a similar point in his life. He was struggling, he was questioning, he was wondering, why things were going wrong, why he wasn't seeing success. I mean, keep in mind at this point, Napoleon Hill had written the laws of success. He had achieved massive success. And then he's having struggles because he entered the Great Depression, right? And I don't mean his depression, I mean the Great Depression. He lost everything, his 600-acre estate, his bank accounts were frozen. He had lost his confidence, his drive, his determination. And how many of you have done that when you've had some things happen? You start to question yourself. He was really questioning himself. And just like you and I do when we struggle, he was asking himself, how could he believe and teach principles that he knew himself he wasn't doing, he was struggling with? How could he do it when everything around him outside his control was in a depression? Everything was going wrong. Like there was no way he could control that. And that's when he remembered a couple of important principles. And that is what really stuck with me. And I want to share those with you today because it leads to this mastermind. Number one, he remembered that every obstacle carries within it the seed of an equal or greater opportunity. See, he realized that he was basically handed the greatest gift of all. He was handed the gift to be able to prove his strategies in a time when it was undeniably the worst on human mindset that he had ever witnessed. This point right here is huge because it's the moments when you feel like it's going wrong that if you can shift your perspective. Listen to what he did. He's in a depression and he thought, wow, what an opportunity for me during this obstacle. So this is the key. That's one thing. The second thing he said is he had not been applying the principles of the mastermind. See, he had been going it all alone, like a lone wolf. And how many of us try to do that when we're having a struggle or we're not doing well? We retreat, right? We retreat and we isolate ourselves like a quote-unquote lone wolf. Now, I know I've been guilty of that. I do it even to this day at times. But what he realized is that, number one, if he viewed it as an opportunity, not an obstacle, and number two, he applied the principle of the mastermind, it would be huge. It would be huge. So what about you? What have you have you ever just felt alone as an entrepreneur, an investor, an individual, like the pressure was all on you and only you, and that everything was going on outside you and you couldn't really influence it? Have you felt like there's no one that understood or supported you, and that there was really nobody that could understand where you're going? Or maybe you feel like your circumstances are an impossible obstacle or harder than anyone else or anything you could get over. Now, I could relate, and so could Napoleon Hill. See, Hill made the choice to move forward and believe that he would and he could change. Then he went on to write Think and Grow Rich, and the rest was history. I mean, I got to tell you, that is a huge story, and I think many of you could probably relate to that. So I decided that I was going to create the Daily Mastermind and the mobile app for similar reasons. And I wanted to create one of the world's largest mastermind communities of entrepreneurs focused on personal development, financial education, and working together to create their ultimate destiny. And guess what? I believe it's time for you also to start tapping into the true greatness and apply the amazing principles of the mastermind and take your life and your business to the next level. So let's talk about what the mastermind is and how it can help you. So first, let me just tell you what it's not, okay? The mastermind is not an idea you can use to make money, right? It's not a get-rich-quick, work less, leverage other people type of deal. It's not sit by your mailbox and law of attraction is going to bring you checks, right? It's creating a definite purpose and aligning others to help work towards that same purpose. Napoleon Hill defines the mastermind in Think and Grow Rich as, quote unquote, a mastermind alliance is the coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between two or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. I'm going to read it one more time. A mastermind alliance is the coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between two or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. That is, says 100 million copies, the definition of a mastermind alliance. Plus, there's several benefits in the creation of a mastermind. Let me give you those. Number one, no two minds ever come together without thereby creating a third, invisible, intangible force, which may be likened to a third mind. So we're not just talking about having a couple people working together. We're talking about creating energy outside just the two. This is where 1 + 1 = 3. You see what I'm saying? Number two, benefit. When a group of individual brains are coordinated and function in harmony, the increased energy created through that alliance becomes available to every individual in the group. This is key. I want you to listen to this. When more than, let me read it again. When a couple of individual brains are coordinated and function in harmony, the increased energy created through the alliance becomes available to every individual in the group. This is why masterminds are so incredible. You may, and this is part back to this belief transference, this energy transference I talk a lot about. When you become part of a mastermind, you can gain energy that you may not have. The third benefit is when two or more people coordinate in a spirit of harmony and work towards a definite objective, they place themselves in position through that alliance to absorb power directly from the great universal storehouse of infinite intelligence. So the mastermind really, let's review, creates a third intangible force. It increases your energy created because you can gain it from the others, and it puts you in a position to really absorb the power of the universe and the energy that's available. And those are three massive, massive benefits. Now, the Daily Mastermind podcast has a similar purpose. We want to provide you resources, knowledge, support, experience needed to spark your creative genius, I know that's inside you, and attract the resources you need in your life. I want to help you create your ultimate destiny. So even if you feel like you're on your own, even if you feel like no one else is really coordinating with you, you should still benefit from coordinating the efforts inside this mastermind. And so I hope, I believe you were born with incredible power inside you already, and you can create your best life. We all have what's needed to create our best life. And I want to challenge you. The reason I went through this mastermind is I want to challenge you to stop doing it alone. Stop focusing on just merely the grind and start tapping into the power of the mastermind. Get a mentor, a community of individuals working together. You can do it. There are many, many, many people out there. I've had individuals that just recently during the COVID-19 have had more success with Zoom meetings than they've ever done trying to do it on their own. And this is part of this concept of the mastermind. Now, I could dig deeper into the mastermind, but I want to challenge you to read Think and Grow Rich and discover the wisdom of the mastermind on your own. Think and Grow Rich, it's in the common space now, so you can get it. You can download it for free. Just Google Think and Grow Rich free PDF. Or you can go to the Daily Mastermind mobile app, and we have a tab on the resources that gives you the free ebook. You can read it whenever you feel like it. So I want you to really dig into this and really study and learn. And I want to congratulate you on taking some time and spending time with me. You're already tapping into principles and powers that are associated with the mastermind just by listening to this podcast. And I challenge you to work towards your goals and create a powerful mastermind of your own. And I'll be here to help you. If there's anything I can do, let me know. I hope this has been of value to you. And I hope you'll share it with people that you know. Anyway, I appreciate you spending time with me today. My name is George Wright III. This has been the Daily Mastermind. Have an amazing day.